to speak? Sorry, I can't hear you.
Mr. Moderator, may I request leave of the meeting for 20 minutes to speak on behalf of the majority of the board?
We have a request for a 20-minute leave of the meeting. All those in favor of a 20-minute leave of the meeting, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Mr. Ewell, I'll give you 5 minutes. And I believe the majority was 3, so you can get up to 15.
Yeah, can speak 5 minutes, right. Each one can speak 5 minutes.
I didn't start the clock.
Can you hear me? First of all, I appreciate your objectivity and your open-mindedness. I think it's very important for all of us to understand that this is not about saying no to youth services. This is about finding a better way for youth services. How we approach a youth services program determines its success. And right now, we are in a position where financially we are a very hurting community, and we have issues in front of us that are becoming almost insurmountable. First of all, I want to say thank you to NORCAM for identifying the problem, for doing something about it, for caring and for speaking up, and for carrying the torch as you have. Is a youth services program a good idea? Yes, I don't think there's anybody in this room who feels that this is not a great idea, myself included. Now, I want you to know that all of the selectmen, regardless of their vote, care about the youth. I personally met with them, I went one-on-one with them, and I wanted them to let them know that we do care. It's just a different way of looking at finding a solution. How should it be funded? By town government? That's a forced contribution. We're saying to people that you must contribute to this program because we say so. Non-profit, it's a tax-deductible donation, and you do it because you care. Society and government, the difference. Society is responsible for all social activities. Government is responsible for the business end of our community, the safety of our community, the infrastructure of our community, and yes, the education of our children. Non-profit versus government. When you have a non-profit organization, you have complete control, you have passion, you have resolve, you have vision, and you have know-how. And you can see that in NORCAM. In government, it's not the purpose of government. Government's responsible for our business structure. Government is not designed to handle this type of program. There's a lot of duplicity in government. You can see it in the programs, even in youth services throughout the town. And now it also becomes a budget item. We have no idea what's going to happen for the upcoming budget. We may have to make some cuts. Who do we cut? Do we cut a teacher? Do we cut e-services? Do we cut a program that is vital to our community? These are the decisions that we have to make. Alternative ideas. Education. since it includes all age of our youth that are in schools, I don't know whether they're at the vote or not, it doesn't matter. If it includes all of that age group, then maybe it should be under the education budget. Parks and Rec, many intertwined programs. All right? They have been promoting this program, well-intended, and they're in a good position to support this program. Neighboring community programs, joint programs. There are communities surrounding us that we can participate with. Human Resources Director. Maybe we can combine youth services, senior services, the veteran services, put it under one umbrella. We have to begin thinking out of the box. Everyone is cutting back. The federal government reduces funding for programs, state cuts programs across the board, education, youth programs, senior citizens, local government furloughs. There are furloughs going on implemented throughout many towns. There's a cut in benefits, 0% salary increases, no step increases. Budget woes may be worse or will be worse in 2011 and 2012. Youth program funding slashed by Governor Patrick. Federal and state funding slashed. Shannon grants reduced to $4.5 million from $13 million. The Detention Diversion Advisory Project at risk. Many programs, youth, senior, and others must now stand on their own. I did a little bit of research, and I found there were quite a few programs. I just touched on one. Raw Art was a program that was started in Lynn, I believe, I'm going to say 1986, 87, something like that. They got cut from the budget in the early 90s, I believe, and then they had to regroup. And they regrouped, and they said, we're not going to let this program fall. And they all banded together, and they made sure that this program proceeded. Now, I know you all can't read that, because I can't read that. But these are all, many of the programs, their partners who donated money and supported their program, but they went after them. They did the hard work, they did the diligent work, and they went after them, and they made a successful program even to this day. Given the tough economic times we compete, we have to be more aggressive in the fundraising area. This is Tim Retton from the president of the Northeast Arc. Northeast Arc works with handicapped individuals to work them into society, to do youth program as well. With the handicap, we have to start reaching out beyond government. Youth versus senior programs. It's been compared that the position of the youth services director is the same thing as the senior services director. I think structurally that is correct. But when you look in the town and what's going on within this community, there are 140 plus youth interactive programs. There are many options for our youth to go to. Senior programs, it's the library, there's a church, and then of course there's a senior program. There is, in that sense, no comparison. Town-wide support. If you're going to ask the community to pay for this program, give the entire community the opportunity to decide. Town meeting and special town meeting. Exclusive, not inclusive. Special interest, vulnerability, 1 to 4 hour limitation, closed to those who can't drive at night due to poor eyesight or disability restrictions, scheduling conflicts, can't leave children, or there's
Mr. Yule.
intimidation.
Mr. Yule, I'll give you 30 seconds.
Okay.
I gave you 2 extra minutes for technical difficulty.
You have the intimidation factor. Okay, we all have to raise our hands, right? And we all have to have people look at us and say, oh, they don't support children. That's an intimidation factor. That should not be in a position like this. And it happens at other meetings. If you make it a ballot question, it's all-inclusive. It's a true reflection of the community's wishes. All day to make arrangements and private vote. Okay? I'm missing a slide here, but if you really want to make a difference, and I'm done at this moment, but if you really want to make a difference, if you want to stand for the children, join Stand for Children. It's a state effort. It reaches all the children within our community and in many other communities. Participate with North Reading United for Education. They cover every child in this community. They are fighting for their education.
Mr. Yule, I need to cut you off. Thank you. I need to cut you off. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Mr. Webster.
Noah Webster, 51 Spruce Road, North Reading School Committee. First of all, I strongly support this motion tonight. I do want to answer a few of Mr. Yule's slides and comments. The last time I checked, anyone could come to a town meeting. I don't think there are any restrictions, so I don't buy that argument. And to buy the argument that government is for the business of the town only, then why do we fund veteran services? Why do we fund elderly services? Why do we fund the library? And why do we fund any other things we fund in this town? And I'm not making a judgment on any of those organizations because I think they're essential to how a town runs and in serving its residents. And I agree with Jeff. The last thing I'll say, we are in a financial crisis. We see it in schools, we see it in the town side, we see it in our homes. But we also have a social crisis, and we can't afford to not have this position. Thank you.
Rita?
I only was going to read one quick thing, but after that quick presentation, I was